My wife lied about a business trip. She was actually hooking up with our neighbor next door. So I'm Liam, 42, corporate lawyer. Pretty boring on paper. Married to Aurora, 45, a marketing exec who's always been the powerhouse type, sharp suits, sharper tongue, and lately a whole lot of secrets. We've been together 12 years. No kids. Big house in the Rockies. From the outside, we looked like one of those couples people envy. But inside, things have been off. It started months ago. Aurora began taking more business trips. Always out of state. Always last minute. Always vague. She'd come back tired, snappy, and weirdly distant. I chalked it up to stress. I mean, we both work crazy hours. But something in my gut kept screaming that it wasn't just work. So yeah, I did the thing. I hired a PI. I hated myself for it, but I needed to know. And then, tonight happened. It's 3:07 a.m. My phone rings. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. On the other end, this gravelly voice just says, Liam, your email. Now. Click. Line goes dead. I'm wide awake now. Heart pounding. I stumble out of bed, nearly trip over the damn dog bed, and make it to my office. I open my laptop. There's an email. No subject. Just one attachment. I click it, and my world implodes. It's her, Aurora, in Finn's house, laughing, kissing, wrapped around him like a damn teenager. Finn, our neighbor, the gym teacher, divorced 6 months ago, lives literally across the street. I can see his house from my office window. And she's there, not in some hotel in Denver or Chicago or wherever the hell she claimed to be. She's right here, 30 feet away. The timestamp on the last photo, taken less than an hour ago. I'm sitting there, staring at these pictures, and I swear I can hear the creak of his floorboards. That's how close they are. I can still smell the grass I mowed yesterday. The whole thing feels like a sick joke. Like I'm the punchline in some twisted sitcom. And then it hits me. This isn't just cheating. This is deliberate. Brazen. She didn't even bother to hide it. She lied to my face, packed a bag, kissed me goodbye, and walked straight into his house. Like it was nothing. I can't stop shaking. But I'm not crying. I'm not screaming. I'm just cold. Focused. My legal brain kicks in. I start saving everything. Every photo. Every timestamp. I back all up. I check our home security footage. And there she is, sneaking out of his place like some cliché. Her silhouette under the street lamp. I save that too. And then, like a punch to the gut, I remember something. 3 months ago, I came home late from work. She was sitting at the kitchen island, face lit by her laptop screen. She didn't even look up. You didn't even call this time, she said. Case ran late. I told her. You're the one who said we needed more clients. This house isn't cheap. She snapped her laptop shut. There's always a case. Do you even remember the last time we had dinner together? I tried to respond, but she just walked out. Left me standing there with cold coffee and a pile of files. I thought she was just tired. Now I know better. That was the beginning of the end. She was already gone. Just hadn't packed her bags yet. And then there was that Friday night a few weeks ago. I was grilling outside. Aurora was working late. Finn came over all smiles. Hey, Liam, he said. Aurora's car's not home. Busy night for her, huh? I laughed. I actually laughed. That smug bastard knew. He was probably texting her while talking to me. The audacity. The performance. I want to punch something just thinking about it. But I won't. I'm not that guy. I don't scream. I don't throw things. I build cases. I dismantle people with facts. And right now, I'm building the biggest case of my life. My phone buzzes again. Another email from a PI. More evidence coming tomorrow. Let them sleep peacefully tonight. Let them think they've gotten away with it. Because when I'm done, they won't know what hit them. I didn't expect what happened next. The second I hit upload, my hands were shaking. Not from fear, adrenaline. Rage. Betrayal. The kind of betrayal that makes your skin crawl. I stared at the screen, waiting, watching. And then, boom. Notifications. Comments. Shares. People recognized her. People recognized him. It was like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. But before I get to that, let me rewind a bit. After posting the photo, I couldn't sit still. I needed more. I needed to see it all laid out. So I drove downtown to meet the PI I'd hired. His office was in one of those buildings you'd never notice unless you were looking for it. Gray, cracked windows, flickering fluorescent lights. The kind of place where secrets go to die. He slid a thick manila folder across the table. No small talk. Just, "It's all here, Mr. Thorne. Everything you asked for. And a little more." I opened it. Texts, photos, time-stamped logs. Aurora and Finn weren't just hooking up. They were practically dating, holding hands in public, grabbing lunch at that little cafe 2 blocks from our house. Her laughing at something he said, her hand on his chest, like they were proud of it, like they wanted to be seen. And the worst part? The timeline. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This had been going on for months. While I was working late, building our future, she was building something else with him. The guy who used to borrow our snowblower. The guy who waved at me while I grilled steaks in the backyard. I drove home in silence. No music, no thoughts, just the sound of my own breathing and the folder on the passenger seat, heavy like a loaded gun. When I got back, the house felt wrong. Too quiet, too clean, like it was holding its breath. I didn't go to my office. I went straight to the living room, sat on the couch, and opened my phone. The post had exploded. Thousands of views, hundreds of comments. People were tagging each other, sharing it. Some recognized the street. Some recognized Aurora from work. Isn't that Aurora from marketing? Wait, isn't that Finn, the gym teacher? The speculation turned into a wildfire. People started sharing their own stories of betrayal. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was a movement. But not everyone was on my side. Some comments stung. A lawyer airing his dirty laundry online? Real professional. This isn't justice. This is revenge porn without the porn. You should have handled this privately. I get it. I do. But here's the thing. I tried being private. I tried being patient. I tried being the good husband. And she spat in my face. She didn't just cheat. She lied over and over and did it in our own neighborhood like I was too stupid to notice. So yeah, I went public. Because silence protects the liar. And I'm done being silent. Then my phone rang. It was her. I stared at the screen for a second. Her name glowing white against the black background. I let it ring once. Twice. Then I picked up. "Liam, what the hell is this?" Her voice was low, controlled, but I could hear the panic underneath. "Take it down. Now. We need to talk. This is insane. You're going to regret this, I swear." No apology. No explanation. Just threats. I didn't say a word. Just listened. Let her fill the silence with her own guilt. She paused, like she was waiting for me to explode. But I didn't. I just let her sit in it. Then she hung up, and I felt calm. Not happy. Not vindicated. Just clear, like I'd stepped out of a fog. That night, I went back to work. Not legal work, personal work. I compiled everything. Every photo, every message, every video. I organized it, labeled it, and uploaded it all. I called it the full account. No commentary, no rage, just the truth. Cold, unfiltered, undeniable. And I hit publish. I don't know what's going to happen next. But I know this. I'm not hiding anymore. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. It's been a few days since I dropped the full receipts online. Since then, things have escalated in ways I didn't even think were possible. 2 days after her car disappeared from our driveway. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. I got a knock at the door. Legal courier. Guy looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. He handed me a thick envelope with her firm's logo stamped in gold like it was some kind of royal decree. Cease and desist. Apparently, I'm defaming her. She wants me to take down the posts, issue a public apology, and basically pretend none of this ever happened. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so damn predictable. Classic Aurora. Lie. Manipulate. Then play the victim when the truth bites back. I call my lawyer. First Amendment specialist. Sharp as hell. He barely blinked. "She's bluffing," he said. "Your evidence is clean. You didn't hack anything. You didn't fabricate anything. She's just scared." And that's when I realized she's not just angry. She's terrified. The paper crumpled in my hand like dry leaves. I didn't even bother filing it. Let her try. But then came a next visitor. Finn. Yeah, him. He showed up on my porch looking like a ghost. No smug grin. No gym teacher energy. Just a broken man. Hair a mess. Eyes bloodshot. Reeking of stale beer and regret. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Liam, he croaked, barely above a whisper. You need to take it down. He gestured vaguely toward the digital wildfire I'd lit. The school suspended me. There's an investigation. I could lose my license. I didn't say anything, just stared. Then he dropped the bomb. She told me you two were basically done, that you hadn't spoken in years, that you were obsessed with work and didn't care about her anymore. I thought. He trailed off, but I heard it loud and clear. She didn't just cheat. She rewrote our entire marriage to justify it. Turned me into some cold, neglectful robot so she could feel better about screwing the guy next door. I clenched my fists so hard my knuckles cracked. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just looked at him, really looked at him, and saw what she'd done to both of us. He was just another pawn, another casualty of her lies. I didn't say a word, just reached for the door. The lock clicked behind him like a gavel slamming down. No forgiveness, no deal. And then she went nuclear, filed for a restraining order, claimed I was harassing her, said I was unstable, that I was the abuser, that she feared for her safety. She flipped the script so fast it gave me whiplash. And the media? Oh, they ate it up. Local tabloids ran with it. Ex-husband launches smear campaign after breakup. She gave a tearful interview, voice trembling, eyes glassy. Played the part of the wounded woman perfectly. But here's the thing. She underestimated the internet. Because every time she spoke, someone dug up another screenshot, another timestamp, another piece of evidence I'd already posted. Her narrative started to crack. People weren't buying it anymore. The comments turned. The sympathy dried up. And then came the first real blow. A major health and wellness brand, one she'd been courting for months, announced they were reevaluating their partnership with her firm. Someone anonymously forwarded me the internal memo. It was brutal. Due to recent negative publicity and alignment concerns, we are temporarily suspending all campaigns involving Ms. Thorne. She hadn't even responded to the fallout yet. She was still pretending to be on a business trip, but the silence was deafening. Except for the texts. Oh, the texts. The last one still gives me chills. You think this is over? You've only just started to feel the consequences. It didn't sound angry. It sounded unhinged, like she was unraveling. And then came the call I didn't expect. Her father. This man used to be a rock, a respected figure in the community, a guy I looked up to. Now, he sounded like a ghost. Liam, he said, voice hoarse, what are you doing to my daughter? I didn't answer right away. He kept going. She says you're ruining her life. That's all lies. That you're obsessed. I let him talk. Let him plead. Then I finally spoke. Look at my posts, I said. Every piece of evidence is there. Unedited. Undeniable. And ask her why she emptied her closet. Why she moved out in the middle of the night. Ask her why Finn isn't teaching anymore. Silence. Then a click. He didn't argue. Didn't defend her. He just hung up. And that silence? It said everything. He looked. He saw. And he knew. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. But the tide is turning. And she's running out of places to hide. I thought the worst was behind me. I thought exposing the truth would bring closure. But I was wrong. This thing has taken on a life of its own. And now it's dragging both of us down in ways I never imagined. My phone lit up with a new comment thread on my original post. Someone had tagged Aurora's employer, a massive multinational marketing firm. The kind of place with glossy PR campaigns and zero tolerance for scandal. The comments were brutal. Is it true your VP of marketing is using company funds for personal affairs? How do you justify keeping someone like this on payroll? This is a PR nightmare waiting to happen. The whispers turned into a roar. And then my phone rang. It was my lawyer. His voice was tight, almost stunned. Liam, her company's investigating her. They're digging into her travel expenses. They think she might have used company funds to cover her business trips. Let that sink in. This wasn't just about cheating anymore. It was about fraud. Corporate fraud. She hadn't just betrayed me. She'd potentially defrauded her employer. And now the walls were closing in. Meanwhile, I was barely holding it together. The weeks leading up to the court hearing were brutal. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., heart racing, checking my posts to make sure they were still up, still intact. I was paranoid, exhausted, and then the backlash hit me. 3 clients dropped me, just like that. Their emails were all the same. We don't wish to be associated with the controversy. No hard feelings. Just business. I get it, but still hurt. I spent my days prepping my case, combing through every document, every timestamp, second-guessing everything. I used to walk into courtrooms with steel in my spine. Now I felt like I was walking on glass. And all the while, the story kept spreading. News outlets picked it up. Social media ran wild. One headline hit me like a punch to the gut. Marketing VP accused of fraud and affair. Husband goes public with evidence. They quoted my posts. They referenced the photos. They even pulled in rumors from her company's internal audit. Her colleagues, her bosses, the entire corporate ladder. Suddenly they were all under fire. People were demanding answers. Ethics. Accountability. And Aurora? She was nowhere to be found. The woman who once lived for the spotlight had gone radio silent. Her sponsors dropped her. That health and wellness brand she'd been clinging to? Gone. No statement. Just a quiet, brutal cancellation. Then came a press release. It was short, cold, final. Leadership change. Aurora Thorne, after over 20 years of service, is stepping down to pursue other opportunities. Translation. She was fired. Hard. She didn't just lose her job. She lost her identity. Her entire career gone. The empire she'd built, the image she'd curated, the power she wielded, it all crumbled in a matter of days. And then she called. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. Liam. Her voice was barely a whisper. Thin. Fragile. Nothing like the woman I used to know. You destroyed everything. I didn't flinch. You did that yourself, Aurora. Every step of the way. There was a pause. Then a desperate, broken plea. I just made mistakes. Why couldn't you let it go? Let go? I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd. You lied. You cheated. You stole. From me. From your company. And you did it all with a smile. I could hear her breathing. Shaky. Unstable. Then, like a switch flipping, her voice changed. The old Aurora came roaring back. You think you've won, don't you? She hissed. You think this makes you strong? This isn't over, Liam. Not by a long shot. Click. She hung up, and I just stood there, phone still pressed to my ear, listening to the dial tone. The silence in the house was deafening. Her words echoed in my head. This isn't over. And I believed her. Because this isn't just a divorce. It's not just a scandal. It's a war. One without rules. One where the truth doesn't always win. And I have a feeling she's not done trying to burn everything down on her way out. I walked to the window. Finn's house was dark. The street was quiet. But something in the air had shifted. The calm before the next storm. It's been months since Aurora's final threat. Since she hissed, this isn't over, and hung up on me like a villain in a bad movie. I didn't know what she meant at the time, but I found out soon enough. She took me to court. She actually filed a defamation lawsuit against me. After everything. After the affair, the lies, the fraud investigation, the career implosion, she still tried to paint herself as the victim. Said I'd ruined her life out of spite. That I doctored the photos. That the messages were fake. That the detective was a fraud. That I was a bitter, vengeful ex-husband with a vendetta. I sat in that courtroom, heart pounding, not from fear but from the sheer weight of it all. The air was thick with tension, the kind that makes your skin itch. Her lawyer spun a story about a man obsessed, a man who couldn't let go. They tried to make me look like a monster. But I had the truth. My lawyer stood up, calm and steady, and laid it all out. The photos, the messages, the timestamps, the neighbor's reluctant testimony, the receipts, the security footage. Every piece of it, real and raw and undeniable. And then he said the words that cut through the noise like a blade. Your Honor, as established in New York Times versus Sullivan, truth is an absolute defense against defamation. My client's evidence is unassailable. The plaintiff's claims collapse under the weight of her own actions. The judge didn't flinch. She listened. She took notes. And when she finally spoke, her voice was clear and final. She acknowledged that yes, I'd gone public. Yes, I made it messy. But the facts were the facts. And truth, she said, is not defamation. The gavel hit the bench like a gunshot. Case dismissed. Aurora didn't look at me. She just sat there, pale and hollow, staring at the floor like it might open up and swallow her whole. And for the first time, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel triumph. I just felt done. Outside the courthouse, the press swarmed. Cameras, questions, headlines. I was no longer the angry ex. Now I was the man who fought for the truth. People stopped me on the street. Strangers messaged me. They shared their own stories of betrayal, of being gaslit, of being made to feel crazy. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel alone. But it wasn't easy. The media attention was overwhelming. Some days I couldn't breathe. Some nights I couldn't sleep. I'd stare at the ceiling and wonder if I'd gone too far, if I'd become the thing I hated. But then I'd read another message from someone who said, "Thank you. You gave me the courage to leave." And I'd remember why I did it. Not for revenge, not for attention, for truth. Weeks passed, then months. The house felt different, lighter. I sold it. Too many ghosts, too many memories. I bought a smaller place in the city. New walls, new air, no shadows. I started over. And then one night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. Liam. The voice was thin, shaky. It's Finn. I didn't say anything. I just wanted to say, I heard about the ruling. I'm sorry. For everything. His voice cracked. He sounded like a man who'd lost everything and still didn't understand how it all fell apart. She's gone, he said. Moved out of state. No one knows where. She blames me. Still does. I took a deep breath. Sorry doesn't change anything, Finn. I know, he whispered. Then silence. Then the line went dead. And just like that, it was over. No more threats. No more lies. No more games. I stood there, phone in hand, and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not joy. Not closure. Just peace. I threw out the last of her things. Changed my number. Started seeing a therapist. I'm rebuilding. Slowly. Quietly. But sometimes when the phone rings late at night, my heart still skips a beat. And I wonder, after everything, after all the pain and the fire and the fallout, was it worth it? I don't know. But I do know this. Silence is complicity. And I will never be silent again. Thanks for listening, Reddit. For the support. For the empathy. For reminding me that I wasn't crazy. That I wasn't alone. This is the end of my story. But maybe for someone else out there, it's the beginning of theirs. Stay sharp. Stay honest. And never let anyone rewrite your truth.